Hey everyone, welcome back to SwitchTop. Today we're counting down the top 25 most addictive games on Nintendo Switch. These are the games where you tell yourself just a few more minutes and suddenly the sun is coming up. Let's get into it. Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2. You're controlling Mario as he travels through outer space to rescue Princess Peach from Bowser, who's stolen her and a bunch of power stars to create his own galaxy at the center of the universe. The core mechanic here is all about spherical gravity. You'll run around tiny planets, launch between them using star bits, and experience platforming from every possible angle, as up and down constantly change based on the planet you're on. The pointer controls let you collect star bits and shoot them at enemies, while Mario's spin attack becomes your main tool for combat and interacting with objects. Each galaxy introduces new ideas, like bee-suits that let you fly temporarily, ice skating sections, or gravity-switching platforms. The sequel builds on this with even crazier concepts like cloud suits and drill powers. Both games are packed with over 240 power stars to collect between them, and the level design is so creative and varied that you'll keep pushing forward just to see what wild idea comes next. The loop of completing a galaxy, unlocking new ones, and discovering fresh mechanics makes it incredibly hard to put down, because there's always something new waiting just one more star away. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate brings together over 80 characters from gaming history to fight in chaotic battles where the goal is to knock opponents off the stage rather than drain their health bar. The story mode, World of Light, has you rescuing fighter spirits from an evil entity that's captured them all. But honestly, most players sink hundreds of hours into the versus modes. The combat system is easy to pick up, but incredibly deep. You've got standard attacks, special moves unique to each character, shields, grabs, and dodges, with damage percentage determining how far you fly when hit. Every character plays completely differently, from Link's sword and projectiles to Pikachu's speed and electric attacks. The stage hazards and items add unpredictable chaos to matches. Online mode lets you fight players worldwide with various rule sets, while the Spirit Board offers constantly rotating challenges with unique battle conditions. Classic mode gives each character their own themed gauntlet of fights. The progression system of unlocking characters, spirits, music tracks, and Mii fighter costumes gives you constant rewards. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. This collection brings two tactical RPG masterpieces to Switch, with the main story following Ramza, a young noble who gets caught up in a massive war and conspiracy involving ancient magical stones and demonic entities manipulating his kingdom from the shadows. The combat takes place on grid-based battlefields, where positioning and height differences matter tremendously. Attacking from higher ground gives bonuses, while flanking enemies from behind deals more damage. You'll build a party by choosing from over 20 job classes, each with their own abilities and equipment options, and characters can learn skills from multiple jobs to create hybrid builds. The job system is where the addiction kicks in, because you're constantly unlocking new classes, learning new abilities, and experimenting with team compositions. Battles reward smart positioning and ability combinations, like having a time mage slow enemies while your knights move in for heavy damage.
Not looking good.
Dead Cells drops you into the role of a sentient blob, possessing a headless corpse in a dungeon, trying to fight your way out through a corrupted island while piecing together what happened to this place through scattered lore. Every run plays differently, because it's a roguelike where death sends you back to the start, but you keep certain permanent upgrades and unlocked items. The combat is fast and aggressive, with tight controls that let you dodge roll through attacks, parry with shields, or block damage entirely if you time it right. You'll find dozens of weapons, ranging from swords and bows to whips and throwing knives, each with different movesets and special effects, like poison or burning. Mutations picked during runs modify your abilities, maybe giving you extra health from kills, or making you immune to fall damage. The progression system hooks you because each run earns cells that unlock new weapons and upgrades, but you lose those cells if you die before spending them at checkpoints. The level layouts change each time, with branching paths leading to different biomes, so exploration always feels fresh. Donkey Kong Bananza easily ranks as one of the most addictive, thanks to the way it blends constant discovery with energetic, free-flowing gameplay. It builds around a flexible 3D structure, where every area feels layered with secrets, shortcuts, and breakable elements, encouraging you to poke at the environment and see what reacts. The world doesn't just look alive, it behaves like a living playground, letting you carve tunnels, smash obstacles, and uncover hidden paths that reward curiosity with new abilities. Transformations add another hook, giving Donkey Kong alternate forms with unique strengths that reshape how you approach exploration and combat. Co-op enhances the loop even more, pairing DK's heavy-hitting style with Pauline's supportive abilities for a dynamic rhythm that works whether you're pushing through challenges or casually roaming for collectibles. Between the dense level designs, the constant flow of upgrades, and the satisfaction of experimenting with movement and destruction, the game locks you into a cycle where exploration naturally leads to more goals, more surprises, and more reasons to dive back in. Dragon Quest I and II HD 2D Remake stands out thanks to how effortlessly it pulls you into its loop of exploration, combat, and discovery. The HD 2D presentation gives the classic world a fresh sense of atmosphere, mixing expressive sprite animation with layered environments that feel handcrafted and full of subtle details. Moving through towns, fields, and dungeons becomes naturally addictive because each area hides secrets, optional rewards, and small narrative touches that invite you to linger instead of rushing forward. The turn-based combat deepens that pull with a mix of strategic pacing and helpful modern touches. Difficult battles still require thoughtful planning, but the smoother flow of routine encounters keeps the momentum steady, letting you focus on character growth and party synergy. Progression feels especially satisfying as new spells, gear, and upgrades arrive at just the right pace, creating a steady sense of improvement that encourages you to push one more area or tackle one more quest. Hollow Knight puts you in control of a small, silent knight, exploring the vast underground kingdom of Hallownest, a fallen civilization of bugs now overrun by an infection that turns creatures into mindless enemies. And you're slowly uncovering the tragedy that destroyed this place. The combat revolves around your nail weapon for melee attacks and spells powered by soul that you collect by hitting enemies, creating a risk-reward system where aggressive play gives you resources to heal or cast powerful magic. Movement starts basic, but you'll gain abilities like dashing, wall jumping, and double jumping that completely open up the map and let you access previously unreachable areas. The charm system lets you equip different combinations of 40+ charms that modify your playstyle. Maybe you want more health, faster soul generation, or additional damage at the cost of taking more hits yourself. The world is completely interconnected, with shortcuts unlocking as you progress, and the map system requires you to find the cartographer in each area, then fill in details through exploration. Boss fights are challenging, pattern-based encounters that feel incredibly rewarding to overcome. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound earns its reputation through a sharp mix of precision combat and fast platforming that constantly pushes you toward mastery. The game centers on switching between two complementary ninjas, each offering distinct movement options and attack patterns. And that dual-style approach keeps encounters fresh as you adapt on the fly. Levels are packed with tricky enemy placements, hidden upgrades, and tight wall-running sections that reward quick thinking as much as mechanical skill. The flow becomes addictive because every mechanic feeds into a sense of improving run by run. The guillotine jump lets you chain mobility and offense in satisfying bursts, while the ranking system urges you to replay stages in search of cleaner routes and higher scores. Boss battles provide that classic test of pattern reading and patience, pushing you to refine your timing without ever feeling unfair. Visually, the crisp pixel art and reactive lighting amplify the tension and give each area a strong identity, while responsive controls make even failed attempts feel constructive. Absolum stands out thanks to its blend of stylish action and roguelike structure that pulls you into a cycle of experimentation and improvement. Every run shifts the flow of combat and exploration, making each attempt feel fresh as you move through branching paths filled with unpredictable encounters. The 4 playable heroes bring distinct personalities and combat styles, from quick, evasive strikes to heavy weapon swings or spell-focused tactics, and switching between them adds layers of variety that keep the experience lively. Its hand-drawn animation gives battles a fluid, dynamic look, making every combo chain or magical counter feel crisp and satisfying. The combat rewards timing and strategy just as much as aggression, so small decisions, when to dash, which upgrade to choose, whether to push deeper or retreat, carry real weight. Co-op play enhances the addictive loop further, letting you coordinate builds and abilities with a partner for more elaborate strategies. The game locks you into a rhythm where each run teases the promise of learning something new or pushing just a bit farther. Mario Kart World stands out for how it combines classic kart racing with open-world exploration, creating a loop that's hard to step away from. Unlike traditional entries, it allows players to roam freely across interconnected environments, uncovering shortcuts, secret paths, and scenic spots while preparing for or engaging in races. The thrill of competition scales up with dynamic mechanics such as wall riding, off-road driving, and vehicle variety beyond standard karts, giving each race a fresh, skill-based challenge. Multiplayer adds even more addictive layers. Up to 24 racers can compete simultaneously, and open-world areas let friends explore together, mix casual cruising with spontaneous races, or hunt collectibles in tandem. The game rewards repeated play through unlockable characters, costumes, and over 200 music tracks, giving a sense of steady progression and discovery. Environmental effects like weather and time of day shifts further diversify each session, making no 2 races feel the same.
Depending on the time of day and weather conditions, the atmosphere will change. And in this Mario Kart game,
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Donkey Kong and his friends wake up to find their island home frozen over by Viking invaders called the Snowmads. So they're setting off across multiple islands to defeat these icy troublemakers and reclaim their home. The platforming here is all about rhythm and momentum. You'll roll through enemies, bounce off their heads, pound the ground to find secrets, and grab onto grassy patches to pull yourself up ledges. Each Kong you can partner with adds different abilities, like Diddy's jetpack hover, Cranky's cane bounce, or Dixie's hair twirl that extends your jump distance. The level design is incredibly creative, with minecart sections where you're dodging obstacles at full speed, underwater swimming stages with precise movement, and silhouette levels where you only see outlines against vibrant backgrounds. Every world introduces new mechanics, like strong winds that push you around, or crumbling platforms that fall when you stand on them. Animal Crossing: New Horizons. You're starting a new life on a deserted island as part of Tom Nook's getaway package, and there's no real story to follow. Instead, you're creating your own daily routine on this island that becomes whatever you want it to be. The game runs in real time, synced to your system clock, so the time of day, weather, and seasons all match real life, which means different fish, bugs, and events appear depending when you play. Your daily routine involves shaking trees for resources, hitting rocks for stone and iron, digging up fossils, catching bugs and fish to donate to the museum or sell for bells, and talking to your animal neighbors, who each have distinct personalities. You're constantly upgrading your house, paying off loans to expand it further, and decorating both your home and island with thousands of furniture items and custom designs. The terraforming tools let you reshape your island's rivers and cliffs however you want. Seasonal events throughout the year bring special characters and limited-time items to collect. Super Mario Party Jamboree brings all your favorite Nintendo characters together for board game competitions where you're rolling dice, collecting stars, and playing minigames to determine who's the superstar. The game features multiple boards with different themes and special gimmicks. One might have you buying items from shops, while another focuses on dueling opponents for rewards. Each turn, you roll dice to move spaces, landing on different colored spaces that give or take coins, trigger events, or start minigames. After everyone moves, you play a minigame where all 4 players compete in quick challenges, testing reflexes, memory, strategy, or teamwork, depending on the game type. There are over 110 minigames, ranging from racing to rhythm games to sports challenges. Stars spawn on the board, and you need coins to buy them, so you're balancing moving toward the star with earning money from minigames. Special dice blocks, unique to each character, give you different movement options and strategic choices. Vampire Survivors drops you into a gothic horror world where you automatically attack nearby enemies, and your job is to survive for 30 minutes against increasingly massive hordes of monsters while collecting gems they drop to level up and become more powerful. There's minimal story. You're selecting characters who each have different starting weapons and bonuses. Then you're immediately thrown into the action. Your character auto-attacks with their equipped weapons, while you focus entirely on movement, dodging thousands of enemies that fill the screen. Every time you level up, you choose between random weapon upgrades or new weapons to add to your arsenal, and weapons can evolve into more powerful versions when you meet certain conditions. The game starts manageable, but by minute 20, the screen is completely filled with enemies and projectiles, creating absolute chaos. Runs last exactly 30 minutes if you survive, but you'll likely die many times while learning enemy patterns and weapon combinations. Between runs, you're spending collected gold on permanent upgrades that make future attempts easier, like more health, faster movement speed, or better item luck. Celeste tells the story of Madeline, a young woman who decides to climb Celeste Mountain despite struggling with anxiety and depression. And along the way, she confronts a dark manifestation of herself, representing her self-doubt and negative thoughts. The platforming mechanics are incredibly simple. You can run, jump, climb walls for a limited time, and perform one air dash before needing to touch the ground to recharge it. These basic moves combine in increasingly complex ways as the game introduces new mechanics, like dash crystals that refill your dash mid-air, moving platforms, bouncy clouds, and blocks that disappear when you dash. Each chapter introduces new gimmicks that completely change how you approach platforming, like wind currents that push you around or bubbles that let you float. The difficulty ramps up significantly, but the game respects your time, with instant respawns right where you died and frequent checkpoints, so you're constantly trying that tough section again without losing much progress. season's Grand Bazaar hooks players with a mix of cozy farming and strategic market management that keeps you coming back week after week. You cultivate crops, raise animals, and craft goods across a lively town. But the real thrill comes during the weekly Bazaar, where you personally run your stall, arrange products to attract customers, and even negotiate prices to maximize profits. Mobility in the game adds depth and fun. Double jumps, gliders, and rooftop paths let you explore Zephyrtown fluidly, uncovering hidden areas and special items. Processing goods through windmills, managing nature sprites to boost quality, and deciding which crops or crafted items to sell or save create a satisfying loop of meaningful choices. On top of that, charming townsfolk, romance options, and seasonal events bring the community to life, making each week feel unique and rewarding. The combination of farming, exploration, strategy, and social interaction builds a cycle of preparation, payoff, and anticipation that's deeply addictive, turning even simple routines into compelling gameplay.
Yeah!
Splatoon 3 takes place in the Splatlands, a sun-scorched desert region where Inklings and Octolings compete in turf wars while a mysterious force threatens the world. Though, honestly, most players are here for the multiplayer ink battles. The core gameplay has you playing as a Squid Kid hybrid who shoots colorful ink to cover territory while battling opponents, and you can transform into squid form to swim through your team's ink for faster movement and recharging your ink tank. The main mode, Turf War, is a 4 vs 4 battle where teams compete to cover the most ground in their ink color within 3 minutes, creating frantic matches where territory constantly changes hands. Ranked modes like Splat Zones, Tower Control, Rainmaker, and Clam Blitz add objective-based gameplay that requires teamwork and strategy beyond just painting turf. Weapon variety is massive, with shooters, rollers that spread ink across ground, chargers for long-range sniping, and more experimental weapons like the bow-shaped Tri-Stringer or sword-like Splatana. Each weapon has different sub-weapons and special abilities that charge up as you ink turf. Hades has you playing as Zagreus, the immortal son of Hades, who's desperately trying to escape the underworld to find his mother and discover why she left. And every time you die, you return to the House of Hades, where conversations with gods and characters slowly reveal family secrets and complex relationships. The combat is fast-paced action, where you're choosing from 6 different weapons that completely change your playstyle, like a sword for quick melee attacks, a spear for ranged pokes, or fists for rapid combos. During each escape attempt, you're progressing through randomly generated rooms filled with enemies, and clearing rooms rewards you with boons from Olympian gods that modify your abilities in powerful ways. Zeus adds chain lightning to your attacks. Aphrodite causes charm effects, Ares adds damage over time effects. The boon combinations create wildly different builds each run, where you might focus on deflecting projectiles, stacking critical hits, or applying status effects. Death is permanent for that run, but you're earning darkness to unlock permanent upgrades in the Mirror of Night, gifting nectar to characters for relationship progression and powerful keepsakes, and spending gems on cosmetic house improvements. Ball Time Pit hooks players with a unique mix of fast-paced, ricocheting combat and rewarding meta progression. At first glance, it resembles a brick breaker shooter, but its depth comes from the variety of over 60 different balls you can fuse, each combination producing new effects and strategies for taking down waves of monsters across diverse biomes. Every run challenges you to adapt your approach, while failed attempts never feel wasted thanks to the game's base building loop. Between battles, you return to New Ball Bylon, investing resources to construct over 70 unique buildings that unlock upgrades, new heroes, and permanent bonuses, creating a tangible sense of growth. The short, chaotic runs blend perfectly with this long-term progression, making it easy to jump in for a few minutes or stay for hours trying to perfect a strategy. The game balances accessibility with mastery. Picking it up is simple, but achieving high-level synergy and optimizing your builds is deeply satisfying. Balatro is a poker-based roguelike deck builder where you're playing poker hands to score points and reach target scores across multiple rounds. With no story, just pure strategic gameplay that becomes deeply addictive. You start each run with a standard 52-card deck and play poker hands like pairs, straights, flushes, and full houses to earn chips that count toward your target score. The twist is that joker cards modify how your hands work in wild ways. One joker might multiply your score when you play face cards, another gives bonuses for specific suits, or some create entirely new scoring conditions. Between rounds, you're buying new joker cards from a shop, purchasing planet cards that permanently upgrade specific poker hands, or using tarot cards for immediate effects, like duplicating cards or changing suits. You can also buy booster packs to add enhanced cards to your deck that score extra chips or have special properties. Each round increases the target score you need to hit, requiring you to optimize your deck and joker combinations for maximum scoring potential. Stardew Valley starts with you inheriting your grandfather's old farm in a small town after getting burned out from corporate life, and you're moving to the countryside to start fresh and rebuild this overgrown property into something special. Your daily routine involves waking up, tending to crops by watering them and harvesting what's ready, taking care of animals like chickens and cows who produce eggs and milk, and heading into town to sell your goods or talk to the locals. The farming mechanics are simple but deep. You're planning which crops to plant based on the season, since different crops grow in spring, summer, fall, and winter, and you're upgrading your tools to work faster and cover more ground. Beyond farming, you can go mining in the caves to gather ore and fight monsters, fish in various spots around the valley with each location having different fish, and forage for items in the wilderness. The relationship system lets you befriend all the townspeople by giving them gifts and talking to them, eventually leading to the ability to marry one of 12 eligible bachelors or bachelorettes. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe brings together characters from across Nintendo's history for chaotic racing competitions. And while there's no real story, the game is all about mastering tracks and outsmarting opponents with items. The racing feels incredibly smooth, with simple controls that anyone can pick up. Accelerate, brake, drift around corners, and use items. But the skill ceiling is high, because drifting gives you speed boosts when you release it at the right time. And the longer you hold the drift while navigating turns, the bigger boost you get. Anti-gravity sections let you drive on walls and ceilings, completely changing your racing lines and opening up creative track designs. The item system keeps races unpredictable, with shells to hit opponents, banana peels to leave as traps, mushrooms for speed boosts, and the infamous blue shell that targets whoever's in first place, meaning you're never safe with a lead. The game includes 48 tracks from across the series, plus DLC adding even more, with each track having unique hazards and shortcuts to learn. You can customize your vehicle by choosing different kart bodies, wheels, and gliders that affect your speed, acceleration, and handling stats. Fantasy Life I, the girl who steals time, follows your custom character in a fantasy world where you encounter a mysterious girl who has the power to manipulate time. And as you investigate strange occurrences happening across the land, you're pulled into an adventure involving time loops and reality-bending mysteries. The core gameplay revolves around choosing a life, which is basically your job class. And there are 12 different lives to pick from, including combat roles like Paladin, Mercenary, and Wizard, gathering jobs like Miner, Angler, and Woodcutter, and crafting professions like Blacksmith, Carpenter, and Tailor. You can switch between lives freely and level them up independently, creating a system where you're constantly working on multiple progression paths. Combat lives let you explore the world fighting monsters in real-time action combat with different playstyles. Paladins have sword and shield. Mercenaries use two-handed weapons. Wizards cast elemental spells. Gathering lives have you finding resource nodes around the world and playing timing mini-games to extract materials. Hades 2 puts you in the role of Melinoe, the princess of the underworld and sister to the first game's protagonist, Zagreus. And she's been trained by the witch Hecate to defeat Kronos, the titan of time, who has escaped his prison and taken over the underworld while imprisoning Hades and other gods. The gameplay builds on the original's formula, with fast-paced action combat where you're choosing from multiple weapon types, like a witch's staff that fires projectiles or ritual daggers for close-range combat. And each weapon has completely different attack patterns and strategies. During each escape attempt, you're fighting through procedurally generated rooms filled with enemies. And clearing rooms rewards you with boons from Olympian gods that modify your abilities in powerful ways. Apollo might add homing projectiles, while Demeter freezes enemies you hit. The Hexes system replaces the first game's cast abilities, letting you place magical effects on the ground or enemies for area denial and crowd control. The Omega abilities give you charged versions of your attacks for high damage options. Hollow Knight Silksong follows Hornet, the princess protector from the first game, who wakes up captured in an unfamiliar land called Farloom and must ascend from the depths of this kingdom to reach the top while uncovering why she was brought here and what happened to this fallen civilization of Silk and Song. The combat has been redesigned for Hornet's more aggressive playstyle, with her needle weapon that's faster than the original game's nail but requires more precise timing. And you're building up a silk meter by landing hits that lets you use powerful thread abilities like binding enemies in place or creating damaging zones. Movement feels incredibly fluid, with abilities like a dash that goes further than the originals, wall running instead of wall climbing, and a grappling hook that lets you swing between specific points for vertical mobility. The healing system has changed completely. Instead of using soul to restore health, you're finding and equipping different healing items with limited uses that recharge at benches, making resource management more strategic during exploration. The charm system returns, but evolved into tools that you equip for different abilities, and there are way more tools to find than you can equip at once, forcing meaningful choices about your loadout. And there you have it, the 25 most addictive games on Nintendo Switch. These are the titles that will consume your free time and have you thinking about them when you're not playing. What games have completely hooked you? Drop your most addictive Switch games in the comments below. If this video helped you find your next obsession, hit that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.